Most supplement brands running Google Ads are making the same mistake when it comes to their shopping campaigns. And this mistake that you're probably making is quietly draining your ROAS and increasing your CPAs. And it's also reducing the market share that you have on Google, which means your competitors are stealing your sales. So what I'm going to do in this video is walk you through the exact shopping campaign structure we use to scale supplement brands here at Demand Capture. We do it profitably on new customers, dominates their competition, reduces their CPAs, and increases their ROAS, making Google their most profitable advertising channel for their e-commerce brand. This is part of the same strategy we used to scale Meraki Medicinal to $444,000 per month, starting from zero when we started working with them. Their break even is much lower than that. So we're basically being paid to acquire our first customers, which we can resell them on the supplements over and over again. And I'm going to show you the exact Google Ads shopping structure that we use to be able to do that step by step on the whiteboard, so you can just copy it yourself for your supplement brand. And I promise you, if you implement just one of these things, then you're going to increase your performance on Google Ads. So pay attention to the end. You're finally going to make Google Ads work for you for your supplement brand. Let's get started. So this is the winning structure that prints money, but to understand what to do, we need to understand what we're not doing. This is probably the situation you're in now. So this is typically what we see when we audit supplement brands on Google Ads, especially for their shopping campaigns. Actually, before we even get into this, you need to make sure your Google Merchant Center is set up correctly. And if you want the full guide on how to set up your Google Merchant Center, click the first link in the description, put your name in, put your email in. I'll send you the exact Google Merchant Center setup guide, but also the anti-suspension guide, so you make sure that your supplement brand doesn't get suspended off Google Ads. Otherwise, you won't be able to run these shopping campaigns in the first place. There's also a whole bunch of bonuses in there, which I won't tell you about, but you'll be able to get the exact guide you need to set up your Google Merchant Center correctly. There's a video in there as well, all the checklists, all the cheat sheets, all the SOPs, everything. So click the first link in the description for that. So once you get that, and once you've got your Google Merchant Center set up, most people typically just put one shopping campaign where they have one ad group, where it's one campaign and it's not split between branded and non-branded. When it comes to Google, you want to make sure that you aren't overbidding on your brand terms. This means that you are getting conversions in the prospecting campaign for your brand terms. And you're able to see this by going into your search terms report and just seeing which of your terms which are coming up. Follow the product title structure, which I'm going to give you later in the video. Then you're going to have your brand name either at the start if you're a big brand, or at the end of that product title if you're a smaller brand. Either way, people are going to be searching up your brand term because of all the other activity that you've got across for your marketing, and it's going to come up on that shopping feed. If you just have everything in one campaign, then you're going to be overpaying for your brand terms, and you're going to be signaling to Google that this isn't a cold customer purchase. So it's going to be optimizing more for that rather than new customers, which is actually what you want to be focusing on. So that's one of the first mistakes that people make. Then they also have just one ad group. So they put all of their products, all of their supplements, all of their wellness products into one ad group. And this means that you're bidding the same amount and you're paying the same amount per click, regardless of what your margins are on that product itself. So you could be running a target ROAS of 200%, for example, but your break-even ROAS might be 1.4. So you want to run a 140%. So you aren't able to set different max CPCs or different bids or different target ROAS depending on the product, based on your true COGS, based on your margins per product, that type of stuff. And also make that relative to the cost of bidding on that search phrase in the first place. There could be some supplements which you sell which are really competitive and you have to pay a lot for them, but there are other supplements which you can bid a lot less on and still get conversions. And you're just not being as efficient if you put everything into one ad group. Then you also just use one title format. So you don't have different titles depending on whether it's a branded search query or a non-branded search query. You're not front loading the keywords that you need to be able to target right at the start of the product title, which means that when someone's searching for creatine, for example, or methylene blue, it's not just having that exact search term that's right there, right at the start, which means Google isn't going to prioritize your product in the auction to be first place. So just having one title format, regardless of what keywords are there, what features and benefits you need to put in the product title to really signal to Google exactly where you want to place it. That's one of the bad things that you're currently doing. Another thing is standard images. So you only have white background images with the supplement itself. You're not playing around with the new GPT settings where you can have floating product images, you can have product images in use, you can have it be held by someone, you can play around with all the different assets and stuff. This is really easy to set up and really easy to do. All you need to do is take a look at what your competitors are doing for their main product images and making sure that if they've got a white background, you've got a colored background. If they've just got a plain product image, you've got a floating product image. Do your best to experiment with differentiating yourself on the product feed. Google is a comparative shopping platform, which means that when your customers search for your product, all of the ads are showing yours and your competitors. So the way in which you win that click and that you stand out is through your product title efficiency, which we talked about here, but also your images as well. And you're probably just running standard images. Then you're just routing it straight to the product page. This is a cold customer we're trying to focus on here. So maybe they're not quite sold on you and your product, your features, your benefits. So if your product page is lacking in terms of differentiating yourself and not having a dedicated Google product page where you understand how that customer is coming to your supplement brand, then your conversion rate is going to be much lower than if you educated them first on that page. You can have one cold traffic focused product page, which you can link back to your GMC. but most people are just running the standard product page. And then obviously you get the sale, but it's not going to be as efficient as you could. So setting all of this up just means that you've just got one thing, and you might get some results, but it's not going to be as efficient as you can be, especially if you sell multiple supplements, multiple different pain points, targeting multiple different customers. Now, what I'm going to show you here is the structure we use that prints money, and it's split into two. But the first thing that we talked about was the campaigns and how you needed to split them between branded shopping and prospecting shopping. And you want to have two different feeds for this. The branded shopping feed is for anyone that's searching for any of your branded terms. You're able to exclude any non-branded terms via scripts automatically in your shopping campaigns. And again, if you want the exact scripts, you're able to do this, get the first link in the description, get the GMC guide, and you get all the bonuses, including the scripts in there as well. Then you have your prospecting shopping feed, which is going to have product titles and product images, which are more geared towards acquiring cold traffic customers. Still in this branded shopping feed, you do have one ad group where you put all of your products in, but the product titles are mainly there for branded terms. You have a branded title format, which means you put your branded term right at the start, and then you have the rest of your keywords per product. You can also run standard images here. It doesn't necessarily really matter because the type of people that are searching for your product are already aware of you. All you need is the standard product there, your best image there. You can link still to the product page because they already understand who you are. You don't need to educate them as much. This is a branded click here, and you want to be able to, again, differentiate this in Google so you're more efficient and you're catering your ads better to the type of person that's searching. And you're able to tell this by the search phrase that you're using and gearing your campaigns based on what people are searching and how they're approaching your brand. And then you get the sale. But the specific thing in which we focus on here at Demand Capture is around prospecting. So you want to acquire cold customers. There's no point in paying for expensive clicks for people who are already aware of your product, and your ROAS may look good in dashboard. The ads that you might be running now might look impressive, but if you check the search term reports and you check the actual journey in which the customers are coming through, they're most likely already aware of your brand. You want to gear your campaigns specifically for prospecting. So the way that you do this is that you have a prospecting shopping feed, first and foremost, so you split them out. And then you have ad groups split by bestsellers. So you can have a bestseller ad group and a non-bestseller ad group, so you split it 80-20. Or you can run it where you have in the shopping campaign an ad group per product. So you might have a methylene blue product, you might have a tallow product, you might have a black seed oil product, you might have a creatine product, you might have a toothpaste product. All of these different items will have different margins, different COGS, and different search terms that people are going to be searching for. So you're going to have to structure them differently. So when it comes to your prospecting shopping campaigns, and these are two campaigns here, you want to split these up by ad group. Then you have a prospecting title format. I'll just go down here to show you what it is. So you use all of the characters that are there for you, around 130 to 150 characters. And the way that you do it is this. So you have the high volume keyword one, so what your main product title is, or the high volume keyword which is surrounded by that title. Then you have different variant fields, so you have the color of it, the size of it, the dimensions. For supplements, this is going to be the dosage, so whether it's 30 days or the milliliters or whatever your thing is there. So it's going to be the size, essentially. Then you have a high volume keyword too. So the second highest volume keyword surrounding your product. Don't mind if you repeat yourself. So it could be like creatine here, or it's like creatine for muscle building, that type of stuff. Then you have the angle and USP, and you have 3 of these. I tend to turn all of the features into benefits for this, and you just have a benefit statement. So it's like this product for this benefit, and this benefit. And then at the end, you have your brand name. You can put this formula into GPT with your product, and it'll be able to spit it out for you, specifically if you give the high volume keywords, which you're doing there. For big brands, you want to put your brand first. For smaller brands, put your brand name at the back, because you're trying to compete with the bigger brands, and you want to be able to position your product title on colder traffic compared to the bigger brands who have their brand name first. Google's going to prioritize you on colder searches compared to them. So use the prospecting title format for this. And then for different images, an example here is for one of the brands that we're running now. Most of the other mastic gums are just the actual product image itself on a white background with a couple of little bits of mastic gum there. What I was able to do in GPT is take the product image, make it floating, put the branded colors behind it, compared to just the black one, which is also something that we tested because everything else is white, and you're able to play around with how your product appears on the shopping feed. This here is getting around like a 1.5 to 2% click-through rate per day on the cold search term, which is just mastic gum, which is amazing. Given how many searches there are per day, if you're getting that amount of traffic and your product page is selling it and you're better than your competitors in terms of the offer that you have, your pricing, your reviews, etc., then you're going to be getting those profitable conversions, which we are for this brand above break even. And this is mainly down to a differentiated product images compared to our competitors. So play around with this in terms of how you're presenting your cold products on the cold feed for people searching for you cold who aren't aware of you. You want to be as enticing as possible and as standout as possible, because the people will just click that one. Even if you are in 3rd position, 4th position, 5th position, you'll win that click at the end of the day. Then because these customers are cold, you want to be able to educate them, which means you need a pre-sale page. For example, this is the page that we're using for this product here. It's geared for conversions in terms of people who already understand us, but it has a lot of education and selling and benefits and features and customer reviews and timelines and tables and guarantees and us versus them and all this other type of stuff here as well. The FAQ section does a lot of conversion here. For example, there was a whole bit of propaganda around will methylene blue turn your brain blue. We added this and it kept our conversion rates solid, even though there was a lot of hate against the product itself. So don't just have a generic product page with no reviews, no information there at all. As you can see, there's a lot of education on this page, which will allow anyone who is interested in the product level itself, but wants to kind of really understand what we're about and why we're better than everyone else. Then that's how you win that conversion there, and obviously dominating Google with this particular product here as well. And most of this was down to this custom page which we built for this client. And then you get the sale, but this is for cold here, and then this is for branded, and you split those up there. Once you structure your shopping campaigns like this, scaling becomes predictable, not stressful, and your best sellers will stay your best sellers. Your weaker products don't drag you down, and you're actually able to get rewarded by Google's algorithm instead of just being punished for setting up some ads like this, but you're not being as efficient as you could be. So that's the exact Google Ads shopping campaign structure that we use to scale supplement brands to 1.2 million a month and above. Did this for Macro Medicinal, as you just saw. We do this for all other supplement clients as well. Cold traffic focused, get them first order profitable, then they're able to resell them on the back end. And we're just being paid to acquire customers because we know how to run Google Ads properly. I've shared with you the right product title structure, but if you want help writing copy for the rest of your campaigns, I'm talking search, I'm talking other shopping campaigns, I'm talking display, I'm even talking YouTube scripts, and click this video here on screen. And I'll go through the copywriting principles you need to follow when it comes to scaling your supplement brand with Google Ads.